Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Iceberg Lounge. I'm one of your hosts, Thomas Single, and again, we are randyless for this episode. But in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Elimination Chamber 2022, which was live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. First time the Elimination Chamber has went international. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so the first match on the card was a pre-show contest, and it was Rey Mysterio accompanied by Dominic versus The Miz. Obviously, Miz was unaccompanied by Maurice. I guess Maurice, I don't know if she was at the show, was even in the country, not sure. What was weird about this match was The Miz was put as the heel, but Rey and Dominic acted more of heels than The Miz through the whole thing. And it's just like, because some of the stuff Dominic was doing, it's like, no, y'all are supposed to be good guys. Y'all aren't supposed to be doing that. This match was alright. Rey wins with a roll-up. I believe this is the only roll-up of the night when it comes to winning a match. So that's good for WWE. And so we move on to the main show. So the main show starts off with the Universal Championship, which to me, again, is very interesting because you have basically your top champion, Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman going up against a legend of Goldberg, and this is a singles match for the Universal Championship. This match is 2 years in the making. They were supposed to face each other at WrestleMania a couple years back. I think it was the first WrestleMania during the pandemic, and Roman Reigns wasn't able to because of his precondition of, he had fought cancer and all of that, so he couldn't risk it because it was still the early days of COVID. And so now they're finally meeting at Elimination Chamber. At this point, Roman Reigns is 537 days as of the event Universal Champion. Longest world title reign in 35 years in the WWE. There's only 4 other men ever in WWE with longer title reigns: Pedro Morales, Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan, and Bruno Sammartino. So Roman Reigns right now is breathing rarefied air. So we have Roman along with Paul Heyman. And what's interesting about within this match is with Roman, Paul Heyman is very timid and quiet. Very frightful of Roman. Whereas with Brock, Paul is loud and confident. It's interesting, the character dynamic of Paul Heyman managing between the two people. So Roman ends up, the match was decent. It went 6 minutes. It's a Goldberg match, it's not going to be long. Roman ends up winning, though, by a technical submission. The ref stopped it. Looks like Roman knocked him out with that guillotine choke. Roman retains the Universal Championship and is heading to WrestleMania. And so now we move on to the third match on the card, which is the Women's Elimination Chamber match. The winner of this match will be the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship and will face whoever wins between Becky Lynch and Lita. And they will face off at WrestleMania. And so we see that Liv Morgan has the most experience in this match when it comes to Elimination Chamber. What was interesting as well as this is Alexa Bliss's first match in, I believe, since September of last year. And she still is sort of using that, character that kind of was inspired by Bray Wyatt. She has a swing inside of her pod, Alexa Bliss does, which is very interesting, playing off the character. We have the first two people, which is Nikki ASH versus Liv Morgan. And we end up getting 4 people in the ring before anyone is eliminated. The third one out would be Doudrop. Fourth one out is Rhea Ripley. Nikki was eliminated by Rhea Ripley by pin. And fifth out would be Alexa Bliss, showing that Bianca will come out 6th. Liv, though, eliminates Doudrop by pinfall, and out comes the last entrant, Bianca Belair. Then we see Alexa eliminating Liv Morgan by pin. Bianca eliminates Rhea Ripley by pin. And then it was Bianca Belair versus the returning Alexa Bliss. Now, the way it played out, I was thinking, personally, that Alexa Bliss was about to win and head on to face Becky Lynch. That could have been a real good program. You have Big Time Bex versus a creepy Alexa Bliss. Mind games, confidence. I think it could have worked. But Bianca ends up winning, hitting the KOD to get the pinfall. And so as of right now, inside of the Elimination Chamber, it would be Bianca Belair winning and is now going to WrestleMania to either face Becky Lynch or Lita. And so we head into the 4th match, which is the second women's match, which will be Naomi and Ronda Rousey teaming up versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. This will be a tag team match, but the stipulation is Ronda Rousey had to wrestle with one arm tied behind her back. Ronda comes out in her judo gi with her black belt, which was interesting. I guess she did that because it was the Olympic season. Nice little touch. I could see them giving that to her in a future game. And so, like we said, Ronda had to get one arm tied behind her back. But once that was tied, Sonya Deville was like, faked you the whole time. Now you gotta do it with one hand behind your back and we're both fine. So, the crowd in Saudi Arabia was very much for Ronda Rousey. Very pro-Ronda crowd. One problem was the way the hand was tied behind her back. It didn't stay behind her back. It kind of went to the side. But Ronda did keep with the one hand. So we're good with that. And Ronda ends up winning by a one-arm armbar submission, making Sonya Deville tap. And Charlotte just stood there and watched. And so now it's on to WrestleMania. We might get a Naomi Sonya Deville match at Mania. Possibly I could see that. Maybe having Sonya Deville's authority on the line. But we know we're definitely going to see Ronda versus Charlotte at Mania for the SmackDown Women's title. Hey, this is Thomas Single from the Iceberg Lounge, and I'm here to talk to you today about Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and guess what? It's absolutely free.
which you can use right from your cell phone or computer just like I do. They even have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds amazing. They'll even distribute your podcast for you. You don't even have to do it yourself. So it can be heard everywhere, from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can even make money from your podcast with minimum listenership. So why don't you download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Up next is Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss with Happy Corbin in his corner in a Falls Count Anywhere match. And once everyone got in the ring, it automatically was 2-on-1. You have the Happy Folk just beating down Drew McIntyre. And, I mean, there really wasn't any crazy movement. They went up the ramp and like they were around the ring, but I mean, it wasn't really a Falls Count Anywhere match, to be honest. It is by name, but that's pretty much it. Want to bring up Madcap Moss. He got spiked on his head by Drew's reverse Alabama Slam. Like, in the replay, like, his neck went, like, top of his head went in, and his neck had to, like, went to his, like, midsection for a little bit, because he got spiked. So much so that I'm surprised all to God, he didn't have a broken neck or some neck injury. He got up, finishes the match, no problem. Drew wins by pinfall with a Claymore kick. But that spike that he took, that was dangerous. And it seemed like, I know Drew didn't mean to. It just seems like every time we have a show in Saudi Arabia, someone takes a move very badly. And I think it's just a coincidence that that's happening. I don't think it's because of the country or whatever. But, yeah, hopefully Madcap Moss is okay. And there's no neck injuries following all of that match, especially with that reverse Alabama Slam he took. But, yeah, Drew wins. And we'll see what's in for him for WrestleMania. I doubt they'll leave him off the card. Alright, up next is the Raw Women's Championship match, singles match. It is Becky Lynch defending versus Lita. Lita is a big favorite over in Saudi Arabia. As she enters, Becky Lynch comes in with her big-time entrance. And the match starts, and yeah, Lita looks a little rusty. This is her first real match in what is said to be 16 years. She might have I feel like this might have been rushed because of the Royal Rumble, and she wasn't planning on wrestling after the Rumble. But they saw the reaction was like, we gotta get her another match. And so she really only had like a month to really like train. And so we have Lita looking rusty. Becky blatantly was talking back to her, like telling her what they were doing next. Like, it was super blatant. Then you had a bad sleeper via Lita. Like, it wasn't even a choke. She was like choking her eyes more than putting the arm around the neck. Becky ends up winning by pinfall. I would say this is the worst female match of the night. The best one to me for the night would be the women's Elimination Chamber match. So we see that it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. Hopefully Becky has a better match. I feel like they rushed Lita into this match after the Rumble. They should have gave her enough time to train a little bit more. I feel like she shouldn't have had a real match until Mania, probably. But it was nice seeing her. Up next, we were supposed to have the Usos versus the Viking Raiders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. But it ends in a no contest when the Usos jumped the Raiders during the entrance. And so we'll probably see the Usos versus the Viking Raiders at WrestleMania, which should be a good match. Both are good tag teams. So we will look forward to that. Ain't really much to talk about there. Now we get to the main event of the evening. The men's Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. Now, we have Brock Lesnar, who won the Royal Rumble, who has already said that he's wanting Roman Reigns, but he's invoking his rematch clause towards Bobby Lashley, but he's having to share that match with AJ, Austin Theory, Riddle, and Seth Rollins. And so if Brock does win, then it will be Brock versus Roman at Mania, which will be a very big match. And so we get in there. We see that Austin Theory and Seth Rollins are the first out. Seth Rollins gives Austin Theory a powerbomb through Bobby Lashley's glass pod. And Bobby Lashley gets extremely injured, it looks like. A bunch of doctors looking. Then third out is Matt Riddle. And it seems Bobby has been taken out of the match now. And we heard later that Bobby Lashley had to be put into a concussion protocol and had to be flied back to America with doctors on board. So we will be praying for his recovery. He bumped his head a little too hard, it looked like, when Austin Theory got thrown through the glass. So now we just have 5 people. Up next, fourth is AJ Styles. Still nobody eliminated. And, they wrestle a little bit. And then up next, out fifth, would have been Bobby Lashley. But he got taken out. And then all of a sudden, Brock Lesnar punches and busts through his own pod to get through. Comes out, F5, pins Seth. Seth's eliminated. F5, pins Riddle. Riddle's eliminated. Brock, F5, AJ's eliminated. Running through everyone. And so now we have Brock versus Austin Theory, which is just like, if Austin Theory wins this will be an amazing opportunity for Austin Theory. So, literally, Austin Theory starts running around the chamber. Brock's taking his time, chasing after him. Because it's like, Austin Theory's got nowhere to go. Austin Theory tries to lock himself in a pod. But literally, Brock runs and breaks through that pod to get to Austin Theory. Then somehow they get onto the top. Austin Theory tried to climb up the cage. Brock goes after him. They end up on top of a pod. Brock picks him up after slamming his head against, the chamber. Picks him up F5 from the top of the pod. And Brock goes for the pin and wins. Brock becoming the new WWE champion. And now at WrestleMania in one of the two main events. It will be Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, with both titles on the line. I do not know if this is going to be a unification match. All I know is that winner takes all the titles. So it's going to be a big main event. More than likely, it will be the night 2 main event. And yeah, so congratulations to Brock Lesnar. Want more content from me and Randy? Go check us out on Twitch at Iceberg Gaming TTV and Itsktowngaming, where we stream multiple games live.
We are also on YouTube at Thomas RJ Engel and K-Town-Gaming, where we play 3 games and have other content for you to enjoy. If you want to follow us on social media, all of them will be in the details of this episode. Support us at patreon.com/TRJI, where you can get our content first before anyone. If you are unable to invest in us monetarily, then you can by following, leaving reviews, chatting with us, liking, commenting, and sharing. Thank you for the support.
Thank you for listening to the Iceberg Lounge. Don't forget to give us a follow, leave us a review, and share this episode. Know God loves you, and we love you, and always remember, all to God. See you in the next episode.